All right, guys. Um, I really hope you have loaded up on calls. If you did it a couple days ago, like call value goes down quickly, but when we're talking about a 10% rip up, probably closer to 15% now that they gave these extra dips, like we're still going to 320 people, minimum 315, at least three. I mean, up to 320, maybe 323. Um, anyways, the when I made my last video or one of my videos, I talked about something that you got to be prepared for, and I got to be honest, I didn't exactly prepare for it this time. That was my bad. But like, we got so much volatility to come. Like, even if you lost a little money, and let's just say you YOLO'd everything on last Wednesday. I mean, obviously you didn't do that because I wasn't really pumping this on YouTube too hard until just 2 days ago. But let's say you lost all your money, and now you get your next check and it's $300. Like, I'm literally going to show you how to turn that $300 into $1,000,000 in the next 2 months, because we have a major rip coming. Then it's going to be followed by a major dip to make it seem like it was all a lie and everyone becomes a perma bear again. And then it's going to be the greatest recovery we've seen in the last 2 years since the COVID pandemic. And we're probably going to go up about 60%. And basically, I'm going to show you how to make massive profits all the way. And then after we go up that 60%, that's when the 2008 crash comes. That's when the VIX hits $80. And we're going to make a lot of money when it goes all the way up and all the way down. Like, we're probably going to have $1,000,000 before we get to the dip. Like, if you have $300, maybe you'll be at $100,000 by the time we get to that big dip. And if you bet that $100,000 on the big dip, I mean, you're talking about probably $5 to $10 million. And so what I want to show is that in my last video, I talked about how we got to prepare for this dip and how that we might have to deal with this bull crap that is happening right here. Well, what I want to show you is, if we look at this bull crap that we were talking about that could happen, which seems that this is the longest, I've gone back for years, and out of all the W's and these patterns that have been created to create the same results, this one right here, so is the last W of the big drop that we had before we hit our 52-week low, came with this terrible bullcrap of just up, down, up, down, up, down before the dip. We knew the dip was coming, but we thought it would have come 3 days, 4 days sooner. But they did, let's count it. They did, so we went down 1, down 2, then up 3, down 4, then we did up 2, so 5, 6, and then we went down 1, and then all the way down. So we did 6 days of bullcrap before the dip started, and that first day of the dip was just a tiny little bit. Well, if we look at this guy, so we went up 1, down 1, so basically since the big giant crash, we did up 1, down 1, up 1, down 1, 2, 3. So we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's make sure. I got to zoom in to make sure I got that right. So let's do this. If we look at this guy, since the big crash, which happened right here, we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we are 1 day longer than the longest we've ever seen, going back years of following this expected W pattern. And we're still coming up to here, people. Like, since we hit right here, like, we know that the W comes up above right here to mess with people's technical analysis, because a lot of people are using this as a resistance right here. And so if it breaks that resistance, it turns them into bulls, and they say it could keep going up. Well, we know that they're only breaking that resistance to trap these people, and we know that there's a big dip to follow. And so because this guy right here got to go, like, we know this guy's got to go higher than that. So for example, let me fix this. So we know that on the way up right here, this guy right here will go higher than this guy right here. And so we're looking for somewhere between here as our cash out, and then we're going all the way down. And I believe, like, I'm looking at two things. One, if we break the 52-week low, which is at 269 right now, so if we hit like 260, I'll probably cash out on the dip. But if we go, if the VIX hits like 35 and we've only hit, let's say, 270, I'm probably going to cash out at 270. I'm looking for a VIX around 33 to 35 before I cash out, even though the QQQ is slightly different than the VIX because the VIX goes off the SPY. I'm basing the VIX of old numbers to the VIX of this numbers, and it looks like we're going to hit about 33 VIX on this dip right here. So yeah, right now you just need to load up on calls. Again, on my last video I said by 8 days of expiration, and you'll get in by, I don't know, I said 5 or 10% out of the money. I probably said 5% back then, but now you should do 10% because all of this loss right here is fake. Like, we were supposed to go up from here, and they created this extra pattern right here to destroy all the calls that people are buying. Because, I mean, I got at least 10 people buying calls right now behind me, and I got people on Twitter saying they're buying calls when I post about buying calls. So all this extra dip right here seems like it's added pressure that we're going to see all of it tomorrow, and then even more. I think we hit probably 305, 307 tomorrow, and then I think we hit the rest on Monday. Yeah, I mean, it's always possible that they could have another 2 or 3 days in their pocket. So, like, again, if you bought 8 days of expiration, you're going to be fine. But there ain't nothing wrong with throwing a little bit of money on some early to expire, way out of the money options. I mean, $500 can turn into $30,000 real quick. Real quick. And so if you got, I don't know, $100,000 that you have to invest, like, strongly consider doing $500 every 3 days on 3 days to expire. And that $500, or the $1,500 if you lose the bet twice and then it hits, it's going to make way more than your 8 days to expiration that are still going to make 800 to 1,000% on their money. All you got to do, like, you got to hold to at least this line right here. So you got to hold to at least 310. And if any call options you buy with strikes in between here, when the price is down here and you let it run to 310, everything is printing at least 800% ROI. It's going to be the greatest rally of 2022 so far, but then we get the dip, and then we get an even greater rally. And so there's just a lot of money to be made, people. Time to start placing your bets. Time to start understanding what I'm doing here, and find a way that you're comfortable with your own risk and tolerance and all that good stuff. But guarantee you are making money, big money, on every swing. Like, if you're not doubling your portfolio on every swing just by going out and buying 1 or 2 month to expire options and cashing them out 2 days later when it runs, like, you're still going to make 200% on your money. So it doesn't matter how you got to play it, but we know that the swings are coming, and they're coming fast. I mean, maybe they can create a week of bullcrap, but after the week of bullcrap, we'll go right back up. It's happening, people. It's happening.